Good morning, everybody. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here in a morning edition of Lions Talk Live. And I think we all know, hey, it's a big game day, big rooting guide day. Time to start thinking about the playoffs. Time to start thinking about, hey, this team gets just a couple more wins this year. We're talking about home field playoff. We're talking about owning the division. We're talking about nothing but good things for the Detroit Lions. Yes, I think we can do it tonight, and we're going to dive into all that stuff today. But before we get moving and shaking into all that, let's talk about a few things that I got to get off the chest right away. One, if you haven't yet subscribed Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. I think we're about 20 subs, roughly, right around there, 20 subs away from hitting 4,800. So if you're one of the 20 people out there that haven't yet subscribed Lions Talk Live, please help out with that. We'd really like to try to make that before kickoff tonight. Also, if you're enjoying the content in the video, maybe hit that thumbs up button if you would, please. Last thing, it all comes in threes, right? Hey, outside of being a coach, a scout, YouTuber, and all that stuff, I'm also a realtor. Have been for 30 some years, it looks like now. So, at any rate, if you're considering buying or selling a home anywhere in the state of Michigan, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever you want to do. Contact me on Facebook. You can find my information in the description of the video. You get the idea. You can contact me in any format that works best for you, but I will work on your behalf and I will save you some money. A lot of realtors out there do some things well. I'd like to say that there's a reason why I'm one of the Zillow premier agents, means top 5% of the country. So go ahead and give me a call. Let somebody with over 30 years of experience work on your behalf to save you money, either on the purchase of commercial property, new home, secondary home, vacant land, whatever it is. Give me a call, shoot me a text, and let's see what we can do to help save you some money. And who doesn't like saving money? All right, as I suspected, the comment section has been a moving and a shaking since early in the day. But before we do that, I promised you guys a rooting guide. I did a little bit of a breakdown here. So as you all know, in the NFC standings, we got the 49ers at the number one seed at 10-3. Cowboys, tied at 10-3, but they're number two. Lions, number 3 at 9-4. Buccaneers was the number 4 seed at 6-7. Eagles, surprisingly, the number 5 seed, wild card, currently at 10-3. Vikings, number 6 seed at 7-6, and Packers are currently owning the last spot, the number 7 spot at 6-7. So when we're talking about the rooting guide, let's break it down. You guys can go ahead and throw your thoughts in the comment section who you would pick here, but some of these I think are going to be obvious for Lions concerns. All right, starting with the Vikings at Bengals today, 1 p.m. I'm going to obviously be rooting for the Bengals. If you guys are rooting for the Vikings, that's fine. Just go ahead and let me know your thoughts on that one, but I'm going to say it for a Lions fan, you're rooting for the Bengals. Sunday, 1 o'clock, we got Giants and at Saints. I'm going to go with the Giants all the way there. Bears at Browns, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Browns, Falcons at Panthers, also Sunday at 1. I'm rooting for the Panthers. Let's see, Buccaneers at Packers, Sunday at 1 o'clock. I'm going with the Buccaneers the entire way. 49ers at Cardinals, 4:05 p.m. Sunday. Probably going to be a long shot here, but I'm going to be rooting for the Cardinals. Commanders at Rams, 4:05 Sunday. I'm going to go with Commanders. Cowboys at Bills, 4:25 p.m. Sunday. I'm going to go with the Bills. And then lastly, this one's probably the most debatable one, which way you want to go on things, but we got the Eagles at Seahawks, 8:15 p.m. on Monday. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I just don't want totally selfish here. I don't want the Lions playing the Seahawks. I just think those receivers, that offensive line, and a mobile quarterback are not an ideal first-round fit potentially for Detroit. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts. All right, now let's get on to the comments section on this. Mike, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke crew. Can't wait for the game. Yes, I'm ready for Saturday night. Same with you, Michael. I'm ready for it. All right, Detroit Matt. Good morning. All we have 16 different scenarios to clinch this weekend. Let's take care of business tonight and hit them in the mouth. I like your idea, man. Go Lions. Yeah, there's a lot of different scenarios that could unplay or unwind, I should say, to get us into the playoffs and maybe even lock up the North. So to your point, yes. All right, let's see. Moving on here, Frank. I hope some of the guys and gals I invited on X can make it. Really excited for tonight's game. Well, hopefully you enjoy the game, and hopefully it's a great game for you and your friends. I hope we have a great one, Frank. All right, mile marker. Good morning, crew. Will Irvin be playing? He seems to spark some energy into the line. I believe he will be in tonight. I mean, I guess we'll see the official report later today, but I do believe he will be active. The only thing I guess that would have kept him out is if that ankle was still somehow giving him a problem, but I'm suspecting he's on the field today. All right, Trumps, due morning to you too. Hopefully you have a great one. Quentin, morning, y'all. Big game day, Final Four to go. Needs need every game. Yes, we do. We need every game. At this point, man, like I've said multiple times, it feels like in the last week or two, you win 2 of these last 4, you've secured the NFC North, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure mathematically there's no way anybody can catch us. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe maybe I'm missing something early in the morning. All right, Trumps, what do we got? We got this. I like the way you're thinking, buddy. All right, Frank, God, yep. All right, I'll augment that. Lions fan number 1, greetings and salutations. I'm really hoping we control the game on the ground and with some play action. Come on, defense and offense, rise up. Yes, grand rising to them. Hopefully they're ready to play. Hey, you do that and you get Sunday off, a rare thing in the NFL. Sunday off and just kind of kick back, relax, and probably maybe have a team thing at the facilities and everybody root for against particular teams. Frank, God's plan will continue on God's schedule. Isaiah Bugs, what do you make of that, Coach? I think it's telling that they let Mohammed go because ultimately, when you leave him on the practice squad, that's what you're doing. You're letting him go. So it seems like maybe the fences are starting to mend between Isaiah Bugs and the team. Hopefully that continues, and hopefully his gameplay picks up as well. All right, boy, I'm going to kill that name, so I apologize. Boy, finally caught the live. Well, I'm glad he caught it. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you can, type out the phonetical pronunciation. I just want to make sure I'm not killing your name, and I probably am, but if you shoot me the phonetical, maybe I can try to do a little bit better job, so apologies. All right, AJ, good morning, Duke crew, and greetings and salutations. Irvin and Coach, I believe he will be tonight, but again, it will be a few more hours, probably like 5 to 6 hours until we officially know. All right, Slim, what do you got? Morning, folks. Question. When is Brian Duker, DB coach, and John Scott Jr., DL coach, going to receive some of the blame for the bad play calling by their units, by the bad play of their units? That'll be in the off season. I mean, most people don't know who they are. I get some of us do because we're a little over top of stuff, and we know all the details of the teams. We leave no stone unturned. But I'm going to say this, yeah, we won't hear any kind of real recourse against them until the offseason, would be my anticipation at this point in the season. All right, Trump, what do you got? Fire them, fire who? Fire everyone, yeah? If we don't do well to finish the year, there will probably be some heads that roll. Don, who's in and out tonight? Do we know yet? Not yet, buddy. It'd be several more hours until the inactives list comes out. Jeff, what do you got? Bounce back game tonight by Goff and the O-line. Thoughts? I think there's a good probability of it for sure. If the whole O-line is in there, sustainable, playing well, then yeah, Goff's going to have a little bit more time. He's going to be able to work, his reads a little bit better than he has been in the last, say, 4 weeks or so, where he's been under a lot of duress. So yeah, and let's not forget about the fact about being at home. You're going to be able to run the ball, it would seem, on Denver. Denver's aware of this, so they're going to probably overload the box a little bit. They do have some nice corners. We all know that. Patrick Surtain's one of them, junior. But I would say it's probably as good as a scenario for Goff as he's seen in the last 6 weeks or so. All right, Trumps, what do you got? If they don't win, they don't deserve it. Yeah, I mean, you got to put forth an effort worthy of winning, correct? I get your point there. All right, Lance, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, all. Do we finally unleash J-Mo? That's been the big question for a while, it seems like. We keep thinking that we're going to see this kid really get unwrapped, undressed, and go out there and put up some sort of statement performance. Hasn't happened yet, but this could definitely be one of the games. I would just like to see him out there on a more consistent basis. I see enough stuff on film and have for a while now that I'm just not sure why they're not getting him more reps. They obviously have more information than you, I, or anybody else, but I think it's about time we start seeing some more showcasing of Jameson Williams. Nathan, what do you got? Morning, Duke crew. Let's get this W. We need it, and we're not going to be easy. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I agree. Denver's got some good stuff about them. I mean, they've got they've got a lot of nice parts, and give them tons of credit. They could have wrote this season off early in the year, but give the coaching staff, give the players credit for having enough, intestinal fortitude, whatever you want to say, to stand up and say, hey, we're going to just inch this thing forward, and that's what they've done. All right. All right, sorry about that. Salim, what do you got? Ball security is huge tonight. Agreed. Yeah, they're gonna, if they take care of the ball, they don't give extra possessions to Denver, especially on shorter fields. Then yeah, that'll be huge, and that probably means you're owning time possession a little bit more and wearing down that Denver defense. Pat, what do you got? Yeah, Salim, yeah, right. No more turnovers. No more turnover heavy games. Yeah, that would help exponentially. Brother Ken, good morning, Michigan from the Mile High City. Good morning, Brother Ken. Hopefully you're having a great one. Hopefully I guess, yeah, you want to stay up late. This will actually be a little bit earlier in your day. This will be afternoon for you. All right, hopefully you enjoy it, though. Trey, Coach, is it true the Lions might try to sign Sue? I see that online a lot. Good morning, Duke Crew. Trey, I can only tell you that I haven't heard anything behind it. I get it's been a hot topic. Like last week especially, it seemed like everybody had that on their talk shows or whatever have you. But I haven't heard anything from anybody I chat with regularly that I would trust that shows that Sue might be an option. So that's all I can say, buddy. All right, Slim. J-Mo needs to unleash himself. You create your own opportunities. Yeah. I just hope they give him some legitimate play routes where he's out there. The other part of that, of course, is Goff's got to read them and throw it to him. So we'll see what happens. I know I'll be interested in watching to see how Denver plays us. Are they going to because what the Bears and Packers did against us, that was effective. I didn't see the Saints, somebody who's very good at man-to-man and that kind of coverage schemes. They didn't use it. And I'm going to be curious to see if Denver mimics it or stays with their normal base formation. So something for us all to pay attention to during the game. Phil, greetings and salutations to you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great morning, man. Hopefully a real good one. Like the guitar, by the way. Brother Ken, trade the Lions don't want Sue. Sue is not a Dane Campbell type guy. Could be a level of truth to that for sure. All right, Frank, Lance, greetings and salutations. I see every dose of Sam Laporta and pounding the rock. I would agree with both those. Yeah, I think Laporta will get some favorable matchups tonight. Unleashing J-Mo would surprise me, but that could be the best time to do it. It could be. You look at how Denver plays there's definitely potential. If, Jameson Williams is who we think he can be, he's going to be able to get open and one-on-one coverage against Patrick Surtain will give anybody fits, but anybody else on there, I think he can get legitimately open. Now, will we be able to throw it to him and connect in stride? That's obviously been a point of contention between Goff and Jameson Williams this season. And if they can fix that, I think we got something. Phil, why is it taking so long to bring in these other players? Our guys are gassed. Really, I guess it's just trying to get those guys to where they won't be gassed. If you're talking about Irvin, I get he's been dinged up or whatever in the ankle. So hopefully he's okay by now. Other players here and there, I do think I like what they did last week with Iffy over Tracy Walker in most obvious passing downs. I always kill the other kid's name that played for Chicago Bears, Vildor or whatever. I thought he showed some real nice stuff last week. Hopefully we see more of that because I get everybody wants to jump on Jerry Jacobs. I actually like the guy. I just think, he's out of position as your number 2 corner. Number 4 corner, he's probably pretty sound. But we'll see what they shake out tonight. Alec, what do you got? Tonight's not the night to get too cute versus the Broncos. I would agree. Their run defense is their biggest weakness. Slow the game down by running the ball 25-plus times. Once you soften them up, you can mix in the pass. I like your thinking, man. Very much so, Alec. Thaddeus, what do you got? Greetings, salutations. Irvin, big game. Potentially. He'll be pretty fresh, right? He'll have some energy. So I know Dr. Detroit will talk about his AARP card, but he should be fresh and ready to go. Brother Ken, I'll tell you one thing: the Lions have to establish a run game. Smash mouth football. I agree. Yeah, pound it at them and pound it at them some more. You got all the things set up to do it. Now you're going to have to take advantage of it. Rafi, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Need some help on my fantasy league. Give me your thoughts on who you would have, who will have better performance, Goff or Love, and Zach Moss or Mostert. Tonight I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna go with Goff, and oh boy, I'll go with Moss. Go with those two. All right, but don't ask me much about fantasy football. I don't know jack about it, man. Full slate, 40 rushes tonight. Play action, 15 and 5 dropbacks. That would be a heck of a performance if we only have to throw 15 play action passes, whatever this game, and yeah, we rush it 40 times. Man, we'd be all right, I think. What do you got, my marker? Our kryptonite includes mobile quarterbacks, opponents opening drives that make us look incompetent. Yeah, that's been a big problem, hasn't it? That's why teams are taking the ball to start the game. In the lack of adequate in-game adaptions. Will we see all three tonight? Ooh. I'm going to say let's go with probably two of those. Mobile quarterbacks, yes. Can we contain him? Russell Wilson isn't as mobile as he once was, so that may help. The trend is your friend. I hate saying it with in-game adjustments from the OC and DC. That's probably going to continue. Doesn't mean they might not get faster at it than they've been at other points in the season, but it will probably still be there. Frank, I wish I could watch practice and see how JMO is doing. I guess we have to trust the coaches, but what fun would that be? That's true. Yeah, if you can get media credentials, you can go over there and watch the first 15 minutes, but that's all you're allowed to watch nowadays. And really, I think I've told you guys before, it's nothing big. A bunch of guys stretching, maybe a couple of them working on the sidelines with either rehab teams or positional coaches. All right, Brother Ken, Thunder and Lightning, Montgomery the Thunder, and Gibbs and JMO the Lightning. Yeah, that would be nice if they could do that. Man, get those two running and maybe even JMO on some jet sweeps or something like that. That would be nice. Garland, morning, making a live today. Got to get house work done today, and I'm up earlier than normal. Go Lions. Well, good morning to you. Hopefully you have a Mountain Dew to keep you awake, man. All right, Slim, what do you got? Big night for the O-line. Goff is going to need time to throw downfield. No more short throws. Open it up when he does throw. Yeah, I'm all for it, man. Make the defense have to account for the entire field. You do that, you've got some real good potential and possibilities. All right, Phil, slow the game down, question mark. Lions play like they're in quicksand. Play faster, no huddle. Run without getting too cute. Basic solid runs and crossing patterns. Get guys in space and block. Yeah, I'm with you that, just looking over the course of the season, I would say the Lions offense, in my opinion, actually does best when they're in the shotgun 2-minute drill formation. It just seems like Goff's more comfortable there. Of course, you're asking him to do more too. But I would say this. If it was me, I'd go with a shotgun 2-back formation. Probably Laporta, Jamison Williams, and St. Brown out wide. That's, I think, just about our best skilled personnel out there. Maybe I'm missing somebody. I mean, you could make an argument that some other players could get out there, but I think in that formation, boy, you could still run the ball. You got 2 backs out there. You could do a lot of spreads. You give Goff just an extra second maybe by going on the shotgun, and you don't have to worry about fumbled snaps. Maybe bad snaps, but not fumbled snaps. So let me know your guys' thoughts, but that's probably what I'd be going with it. Brother Ken and Coach Dan, if you say the NFL is a copycat league, I truly feel Wilson will try to be mobile to attack our Achilles heel. Yeah, I agree. He's going to have some opportunities. I mean, maybe he's slowed down enough where maybe someone like Hutchinson can catch him a little bit more. Same with Irvin. I just hope when it comes to more mobile quarterbacks, you're going to see more packages with Irvin, Hutchinson, Jalen Reeves, Mabin, perhaps. And maybe I would mind Tracy Walker as more of a blitzing linebacker / safety. I think he can cover well enough against some options in that scenario. But if not, if he's got to be out there on the field a lot more, he is a little bit more athletic and he's way better in coverage. Not saying if he is great in coverage, but compared to Tracy Walker, I mean, he's discovered plutonium when it comes to coverage. All right, Rafi, Lions must utilize all their tools tonight. No leaf unturned. Show the whole league what we got and what we are about. It must be a statement win. Yes, win tonight. Make no mistakes. That would be a huge win, not just for us, but for probably the perception of the Lions to continue to evolve across the league. Same brother Ken, agreed. Yeah, me too, man. Phil, abandon the foolish 4-2-5 and let the linebackers loose. Yeah, unleash Blitzburg, man. I know we've talked about it a lot recently that just because of attrition, the type of defensive lineman we have, whatever you want to say, probably going with a 3 down lineman and 4 backer formation on first and second down is probably not a bad idea. Of course, all this depends on what the offense is doing formationally, but you're going to get a little bit more athletic. You're going to have some of your better guys out there. So I'm with you on that. And Dr. Detroit has hit the house and hit the like button, please. Yeah, I have no idea what it's at, but if you guys could help out the channel by hitting that like button, that would be great. And good morning to you, Dr. Detroit. Trumps, Sue would be the best DL on the team. There could be a case for that for sure. Michael, howdy, Dan and Lions Faithful. Go Lions 35-31. Ooh, tight game. I like that. Michael, and good morning to you too. Dr. Detroit is in the house. Yes. Mr. Nico, let's pitch in for the frat style house in Michigan. I know a guy. All right, let's do that. We'll Animal House? There we go. Michigan style. Jerome, good morning, Coach. Do coaches and players get nervous during big games, and does it cause them to make mistakes? Absolutely, man. 1,000%. It affects every level of play that at least I've seen. We're talking little kids, high school, college, or pros. Yeah, some people are affected obviously by it more than others, but that's, I would say that's part of scouting, and you guys have probably heard me use this reference before. The best example of it I'll ever have to the end of my days is probably Randolph Keys. You guys probably don't even know who he is, but I did an evaluation, and this is early in my evaluating career. Michael Jordan, when it was 20 points one way or the other, if it was a blowout or they're just getting blown out. Gets to 10 points or less, though, couldn't crumble any faster. And no disrespect for him, just who he was, but that's a lot more people than probably most people think. That's why it's so tough to get NFL quarterbacks to be successful, because there's very few people on this planet that can throw that ball accurately, hit somebody in stride, and not be affected by the emotional component of a 300-pound dude coming to light you up if you hold on to that ball a half second longer. All right, Justin, it's game day. Let's go, Detroit. We need a win tonight, 100% there. And thank you for joining the channel this morning. Michael, Lions should be able to run and hit the intermediate passes to Laporta and St. Brown in the middle of the field. I would agree. There's a lot of potential for that. Hopefully we can hit some deep ones too. Phil, if we don't get out coached, our guys are better than their guys. Overall, I would agree with that. Yeah, I get they've got a couple of good pieces here and there, but to your point, Phil, yeah, they've got some nice. We've got some probably overall better team. Correct. All right, Lone Wolf, what do you got? Huge game today. Lions must win. Must win 1,000%. James, tonight is do or die. I would say there's a high probability of that. Tonight we have to prove we are not soft. All right, I'll go with that. Yeah, own the moment. Jerome, hey, Coach, on the injury report, what is LP limited practice? And not listed that they're full participant, or sometimes they just put FP, LP limited participant. How's your team doing? The one you coach, we are 3-1 now, 3-1 on the season. So lost one in double overtime on Tuesday, nail biter. So I thought we were going to triple overtime, but it is what it is, man. Uncool, what do you got? I wonder if any of your contributors have a coaching background. As far as some people that I reach out to and talk to and share information with, there's not a lot of reporters that also coach. I know there's one other that I'm aware of. I've coached. This is my 34th season coaching one sport or another, and I've been a reporter for, I don't know, 28, 30 years. So, but there's not a whole lot that do both. It does kind of get tough at times, especially when you're reporting. You got to make sure you don't try to report on anybody you're coaching against, because that kind of is probably a conflict of interest, one way or another. All right, Phil, what do you got? Greetings to Jennifer, the real brain of this outfit. You were not wrong there, man. And she would concur with that, Phil. John, greetings and salutations. We need to run the ball. Yeah, John, I think, 100%. We'll probably come out. We'll look to hammer it on them for sure. Phil, what do you got? Denver punches the ball, hang on to the ball. Yeah, they're going to come after it. Yeah, they'll be like, what's his name? He used to play for the Bears. Not Penny, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Used to knock it out. Peanut Tillman. There we go. Fletch lives daily. You people wake up way too early. Go Lions. All right, Phil, do the Sue. Yes, that might happen. Phil, I build those guitars. That's actually pretty awesome, man. You do good work from what I can tell from the photo. Man Bear, what do you got? Greetings and salutation, doers. There you go. Silver Server, hello, coach. Just listening. Nothing to add. Hey, you being here is something to add, Silver. Hopefully you're having a great one, man. Thomas, what do you got? This game is no different than any other for Detroit. Win the turnover battle. Denver cannot beat Detroit without turnovers. I'll go with that 1,000%. So ball security is going to be at a premium tonight. All right, Gun Guy, Lions by 1 million. That would be an impressive feat right there. And Vegas would probably be losing a little money, and I'll take it. Ed, what do you got? Good morning, coach. Another must win for both teams. Go Lions. Yep, and we need to be the team that needs it more than them. So go out there and establish dominance. Phil, we were supposed to have great special teams this year. Have not seen anything or nothing special. We haven't really been burned by anything. We haven't been great. The missed extra points and a couple missed field goals. Probably I could live with the field goal misses because they haven't been egregious, but those extra points, especially in recent weeks, yeah, that's got to change. That can't keep happening. Alec, coach, I don't understand why they can't use JMO in motion. Not every play needs to be a deep design. Throw him in the slot and let him eat yak. Yeah, I agree with you, Alec. I've been questioning why we haven't used him on like crossing patterns or things of that sort more and more. That I can't answer. You're gonna have to ask Ben Johnson that one, but I'm with you. I'm surprised by it. Trump, no bit lady today. I haven't seen her in comment section, so no. Ed, what do you got? Can a crossing route be a deep route, say 15 to 20 yards? Sure. You can. Deep ends is what you're referring to, there's tons of different terminology for it. But yes, you can still run the same play, but on a deeper route. You just want a quarterback who can really hum it a little bit more with a little more velocity because that ball is going to be on a rope, and if you're not careful, somebody can break on that route to the receiver. Our cornerback or defender can. All right, what do you got? Mile marker at Phil. That's a wonderful skill and art. Yeah, guitars. Wow. Yeah. See the photos, at least from what you can see in the photo. I feel that's really impressive work you got there. Don, if you rewatch the last game, Fields didn't really hurt us. It's a gap assessment, guys trying to do too much. Yeah, I know there was a couple times you saw guys over rush and over penetrate. Gap containment, smart ball, and run the ball, we win. Yeah, the Lions definitely hurt themselves to your point there, Don, with that. I agree with you fully if you rewatch things. But, no team's perfect. We're 9-4. They get this win tonight, 10-4. Hopefully they keep learning, coaches and players, from some of these mistakes that, like you're pointing out there, Don. Trump, what do you got? Sue will go to a team that finishes ahead of us. Bank on it. That could be definitely. All right. Boo, what do you got? Good morning, do crew. Lions win tonight. I'll take it. Boo, what's the score? Let me know. All right, Phil. Bit lady seems like a coach. Might be. Definitely knows their stuff on some stuff. So, yeah, you'd see they deep dive into things a little bit there. So, agreed. Jerome, good morning, coach. If a player is questionable, will he play? It can be. They're not ruled out. They're just probably going to be a last-moment decision. So, let's just say the final inactives today, with it being 8 o'clock, maybe it goes into the afternoon, but they're going to give that person every opportunity before they rule them out for the day. So, definitely could be in. All right, John King, what do you got? Good morning, coach. My biggest fear is we get out coached. Note to MCDC, we have a great punter. I see where you're going there. We do. And yeah, sometimes I think we all agree Campbell can be a little overly aggressive or assertive at times. So I get you can't stop being who you are, but you do have to try to make sure you don't beat yourself. To your point, I think that's where MCDC is going to have to try to walk a line. All right, Eduardo, it's time for the team to regain our confidence. Agree. A win here tonight would probably be a huge step towards that. Boo, what do you got? Phil, I only play them. All right. The guitars, yeah. I knew where you were going with that. Bit and XM must be sleeping, and it could be. I mean, yeah. It's Saturday morning. It's 7:30. So yeah, I get that. Eduardo, 9-4. Better be 10-4 and not 9-5. What would it? I'm trying to think what would be the key components for us to be able to watch this game and say, hey, just from a coaching standpoint, are we seeing real growth and development of our coaching staff? To me, that's one of the biggest things going to the end of the year. Win, lose, indifferent. Are we seeing growth out of these guys? And that's one of the biggest things I want to watch out of this game. Uncle, what do you got? The bit and Southwest must be sticking. I think I just read that. Sorry. I did just read that. Boo. All right. 21-13. I'll take it. I mean, because it's a win, right? All right. Eduardo, if we script the first 15 and JMO hasn't been targeted every game he's played, lets you know how big of a priority he is. Yeah, I would say that. I get early in the year, they were making the statement, he's got to earn the trust. He's got to be there. We got to have trust in him, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of that is coach speaking, and maybe there's some justification for it. Maybe they are trying to get him to earn some stuff. But you guys let me know your thoughts. I think he's earned it. I think he's played pretty well, especially if you're talking just the last month and a half or so. You watch him in blocking, you see him in route running, catching the ball. All those things have improved. So why they haven't incorporated him a little bit more, that would be my question, and hopefully they're going down the stretch here. All right, Trump's. Let's hope refs call holding on Hutch this game. It's getting to be annoying. Yeah, I get the NFL is incredibly worried about quarterbacks, getting injured. I get it, and they're doing everything they can to protect quarterbacks more and more. You also look around the league at how many of the quarterbacks that are out there that are, your starting quarterbacks, your top flight quarterbacks are getting hurt. So with all that being said, I still think, hey, man, if I'm holding and dragging you down to the ground, that still has to be called. You can't just say, hey, we're going to bend the rules totally for one side of the game versus the other. Boo, caught up after a morning run. Hey, all right, well, I'm glad you caught up with the show, man. All right, Eduardo, I wonder if the Boo Birds will come out if the team starts playing like poo. I would say, hate saying it, man, but hey, it's Detroit. They're going to let you know if you're not performing well. Phil, Micro Mike does great play-by-play. I've seen him on it a little bit as far as it. I would say, yeah, he does a pretty good job with it. I've tried to, in the past, do a few of the live casts. The problem I have, and I know we've talked about it when some of you guys asked me to do it, it's just there seems to be about a 30-second delay from my feed to what some of you guys at least are saying. Some of you are on the same scope with me. I get it. It makes for not an enjoyable experience if you already know the outcome of the play, or if I'm announcing it and you're the one who's behind 30 seconds. So I don't really have a great answer for it. So I've tried to work with a couple different providers to find as close to on time streaming as possible, but I have not found that yet. Drum, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Why have Goff being beat up on social media, and do players and coaches listen to that stuff? I can answer that. Yes, players listen to it. Now, every player, no. Coaches, no. But I would say the vast majority of them are aware of their own press, and it can be a real mental issue for players and or coaches. If you start feeling some pressure, you're not performing at your best, and now you're paying attention to the media, yeah, that's just going to add more mental duress, and it's probably going to affect your performance even more. Drome, what do you got? Goff is our QB. Leave him alone. Yeah, and you've seen some players stand up for him. Goff's gonna have to help himself though with a couple, I guess, a month straight here of good games. That would go a long way to keeping fans at bay or media at bay on him. Boo, hit Jamon stride on cross. Yeah, I would agree with that. Get him in motion there. Get him running some short crossers or even intermediate ones, and get him that ball in space. Do everything you can to make him a pain in the butt for the other team. Eduardo, these next 4 games are it. There is no more, quote, fixing. You're either get these wins and get ready for playoffs, or you get left behind. Yeah, I think we're probably going to make the playoffs. I get nothing's for certain yet. Nothing's written in stone, but I'd say that's a reasonable expectation. Getting the NFC North, though, that would be huge just because you would have a playoff game. And to be fair, you'd win the North for the first time in a billion years. So I'm with you. I think these are massive games for the psyche of this team, coaching staff, and franchise. Joe, good morning, all. Good morning to you too. All right, one funky. People need to learn what's called holding in the NFL. Yes, that would probably help. Eduardo, in my opinion, anything worse than 12 wins after starting 8-2 is a disappointment. Uh, boy, 3 wins out of the last four. I would say that would be great to get that. I'm just gonna say me. If we can get 11, I'd be happy. I would call it a good season. All right, Trump butt cheeks. Okay, you got to go with what you like, buddy. All right, Frank, what do you got, Coach Dan? The delay is horrific. I agree with you. Yeah, it's. I've tried doing like 4 different providers to get it, and it's just there's been one game, the Kansas City game this year, and that was on Amazon Prime, and I I felt like I was on front of most of the people, not everybody, but listen to people on the live stream. A lot of them were not happy because I was telling them the result of the play before they could even see it. So that was causing a problem. And even the Sarge was watching it, and I know his wife was not getting happy because they were trying to watch this game while commentating, and I think we're like 2 plays ahead of them. So it didn't make it fun for them. So that's why I stopped doing it. All right, Ed, what do you got? I have been listening to Denver chat, and fans are talking about pressure on Goff, and they win. I would say that's probably going to be most fan bases. To your point, Ed, right now they're going to all hear about Goff's 9 turnovers and whatever it is, 4 games. So that's going to be the narrative. Get pressure on him. This guy's going to fold to give it up, and we'll probably get the win. So I agree. That's probably a part of it. Eduardo, if they can't handle the pressure part of the game, then you shouldn't be playing the sport. Yeah, and that's why they try to. That's why they try to get rid of players who don't handle pressure well or perform well under duress. However you want to phrase it. So you're 100% correct on that. Yeah. If you're not good at that, teams are going to try to replace you. Don't want the hate, then show up and play. Agreed. Agree with that. Hey, Phil, thanks for that, man. I will buy that morning Mountain Dew with that at the Circle K today. Thank you very much for that. Have a few. I will have a do. Thank you. I'll have a few do. Broski, Coach Dan, what levels have you coached at? High school, Division I, others? Which positions have ever head coach? I've coached high school, college, D1, D2, NJCAA. Boy, I'm trying to think else. G League. Yeah, and then for the scouting, that took me to a different level because now you're scouting athletes for multiple different sports. As far as sports, I've coached tennis, soccer, basketball. Boy, I'm trying to volleyball, football. Yes, positions. Oh boy, mostly punt and kickoff return because I like the crazy dudes. But you sit in on OC meetings, DC meetings. I mean, like most coaches, you want to evolve your career, so you try to listen to people and try to gain from their wisdom. To try to give you a reference, when I heard people, going after University of Michigan for stealing signs, I was like, man, that's everybody. I've never met a team at any level that doesn't try to get an advantage by stealing signs. And it just, to me, when that became a big media storm, I was like, these are people that are clearly either trying to get ratings, clickbait, headlines, whatever you want to say, or they just have no idea about sports. Because I've never seen a level, and that's even at the highest levels where that's not taking place. And everybody's aware of it. You expect it. So in football, if you don't have false signs to try to throw people off, you're, in my opinion, you're new to coaching. How about that? So that's what I would say to you, man. Yeah, and I enjoy it. I love it to death. It can be emotionally draining, the coaching, but I tell you this, it's unlike any other job I've ever had, and I love it to death, man. All right, one funky, Eduardo, exactly. Yep. Trump, beat pop in the house. All right, I like it. Beat pop. All right, bear pop. Yep. Yeah, can't say it all, man, but you get where I'm saying. All right, Joe, I just hope with the team plays as a team, our strength comes from our play execution, not from individuals having a good game. Yeah, I would agree with that. We're definitely a team built around itself. All right, Ed, what do you got? Win, and we are talking playoffs. Lose, and we're talking draft. Not quite yet, but yeah, you're gonna be leaning towards it. And you know what? I got that video all done for the draft, but I got to get it out to you guys. And just keep in mind, it's a first mock draft. It's going to evolve a lot over the next several months. Wardo, maybe Hutch can show up tonight and get a sack. Hey, he had one last week. He hasn't been as impactful as probably most thought, but I would say a lot of what I'm seeing from him is not. I don't want to say typical, but it's fairly typical, I guess, with most second year players, just because they're going to have to evolve their skills because most people know where your strengths are now. Jerome, hey, coach, do you believe refs are missing penalty calls on purpose? I don't. Jerome, could it happen at 100%? 1,000% could it happen? I would just hope any ref out there, and I'm talking any level, wouldn't do such a thing. I get they're humans. I get people get pissy. I get upset, all that stuff. But I really hope it doesn't happen. But then again, every once in a while, you get the information where the feds caught some guy, dipping in the books or, not purposely throwing a flag. So it does happen. I like to stay in my bubble and think, hey, all the refs are good, kumbaya and all that stuff. And for the most part, I would say the vast majority, they do as good a job as you can expect. We have the advantage watching on TV with 47 different viewing angles and being able to slow it down and zoom in. Where you're a human being on the field. Everything's happening pretty fast, and you're not going to catch everything. I've had the pleasure of reffing a little bit just so I can get out there and get accustomed to it. And let me tell you, you can be out of position. You can miss something that everybody else in the world sees. It does happen. All right, Eduardo, maybe Ben Johnson can actually stick to the run game after the third quarter. Yeah, I mean, some of the problems we've had on the third quarter, I think, are self-inflicted with play action and scheme formations. I think maybe like game 3 of the year, when it started becoming a talking point about the third quarter, that we're just not performing well or doing anything there, then I start thinking it gets in people's heads and they get out of what they should be doing to try to force something that really is not there, just to try to change things. All right, Eduardo, in Ragnar we trust? Yes, Frank is a tank. Eduardo, I'll be fine if Goff only turns it over once, please. I'm hoping for none, man. But once, you probably survive. Boo, grit is good. All right, we'll go with the grit of it. Trump, what do you got? I see Decker's starting to fall off. Time to draft a replacement. Yeah, I've been talking about that a little bit in the last week or so. And to be honest, I get his back's banged up and bruised, and he's playing through it. So give him some Warrior credit for that. But to your point, I do also think you're starting to see some of the slow decline down in him. He probably wouldn't go for it, but I'd probably ask him I'd probably tell him, you're going to keep playing, you're going to be a guard. And I'd probably move him inside and move Panay over and then look to draft a right tackle this year. Because then you're still getting value out of him. I just think when you watch him, his mobility, his ability to slide has diminished. And maybe it's just a back injury, but he's losing some quickness. And as a left tackle, man, you're going to get a quarterback smoked if you do that. And he is one of the reasons why Goff's performance has gone down, in my opinion, is because Goff is getting some blindside shots on his back and some of it's because Taylor Decker isn't quite performing as well as he once did. And it could just be the injuries, but that's just my opinion. Joe, what do you got? If Denver focuses on reassuring Goff, we better have our running backs run right past them all night. The running game will be huge tonight. And Denver is going to be focused on pressuring Goff for sure. But I would say, to your point, if there's some gaps in the A and B lanes, then both running backs or whoever's out there is going to have to take advantage of it if they're overly pursuing or pressuring Goff. May the dew be with you. Same to you, Booth. Justin, I tried to hop on every local live stream and leave like it's all about the support for Michigan sports. Thanks for that, man. Thanks for that very much. I appreciate it. Eduardo, keys to victory. Goff, less than 25 pass attempts. Running backs, over 30 rushing attempts. I'll go with that. You were a basketball coach for G League? Yes, it was. Coach and general manager for a while, and that's what got me into the scouting. We took an expansion team, and I guess we messed up enough where somebody thought I knew something. We'll put it that way. We had a heck of a first season. Made it to number 4 ranking in the country, and that led to me getting some scouting contracts to go overseas and scout players for potential uh, considerations from different franchises and different leagues. Phil, do you have a coaching mentor? I've had a few, man. You coach long enough, especially when you start. I started when I was 17, something like that, coaching. And I've had a lot of good ones. Dick Schultz is one Hall of Fame basketball coach that I got to know real well. Ron Welch, who became like a pseudo father to me. Man, you go through a lot of lists of different people over the years. I don't want to discredit anybody, but Dunning was a big one. Like any profession, man, you around long enough, you learn from people. Eco Dunning was, I know I just said Dunning, but Eco Dunning, he was a huge one. There's been a lot of ones. And what I wanted to do when I was early in coaching, I didn't want to just learn in one sport or just from one coach. I wanted to learn from lots of different ones. Paul Westphal was, I know I've talked about it on the show before. He was hugely inspirational to me. Most of you guys, if you're old enough, you remember Loyola Marymount or the Denver Nuggets and stuff like that. So he was huge. I kind of stalked him, I guess you could say, at a bar for a while, and finally sat down next to him. And yeah, he was kind enough and gracious enough to spend several hours just explaining different thought process and stuff. And you'd be surprised how many coaches from sport A are influenced by sport B and C. Because I don't know jack about tennis, but I wanted to learn from one specific coach because she was so good at what she did. You watched her coach, and it was not typical tennis, in my opinion. So I asked if I could just work for her for a season or two. And I learned a lot of things I passed on to like soccer or basketball or football or whatever. So uh, don't just be closed minded and say, hey, I just got to learn from one set of coaches. But what do you got? Gunner was fun. Nothing like hitting at full speed. Yes, correct. Yeah, on special teams. Yeah, I love those dudes, man. My kind of people. Broski, what do you got? Michigan had a guy going undercover, dressing as other team's coaches, sneaking into practices. Come on, Dan. Yeah, I'm not agreeing. I just want to say I'm not agreeing with what they did. That's not right. I'm just saying, as far as scouting and trying to get play calls and signs, yeah, that happens all the time. But dressing up, what was the team? Central Michigan, yeah, getting some of their gear. And I still haven't heard how he pulled that off, but getting some of the other team's gear, team you're not even associated with, and being on their sidelines, yeah, that's not kosher. That's not cool at all, by any stretch of the imagination. That can't happen. All right, Eduardo, I'm still talking drafts. Would you prioritize a true shutdown corner or someone to pair with Hutch? To me, I would be careful not to just say, hey, we got to take this in the first round order. I think you're probably going to have best value for where they're probably going to be drafting. I think it's going to be O-line. I think you're going to be able to get a day one starter later in the first round on the O-line. Maybe there's a legit pass rusher or corner or something there. But I would just say, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be your opinion. My opinion, we need offensive line. We need defensive line, somebody who can get after the quarterback, and yes, a corner. So whoever the best one is there, that's probably where I'm taking. The rest of the team doesn't really seem that bad. It's just those 3 spots are going to be huge for us. Now, how much of that do you affect in the free agency? I guess we'll have to see. But I would think you're probably drafting offensive linemen versus signing offensive linemen, unless you're talking about keeping Jonah Jackson. Frank, what do you got? We are sweeping the Vikings. That would be huge. That would automatically get you the division and the 11 wins plus the number 3 seed. All right, Trump holding almost every play on Hutch. I would agree. I would 100% agree. Broski, lots of talk about poor officiating in the NFL this season. Is this something you've noticed worse than other seasons? Worse than other seasons? I'm going to go with probably no. Talked about, yeah. It's just, we live in a world. I mean, you guys, when you get off this channel, how many of you guys are going to go on YouTube and watch something else or watch stuff throughout the day, whether it's on YouTube or whatever else? It's just we're constantly inundated, and everybody's got to have topics to talk about, right? So if the hot topic that's getting all the likes and shares or whatever else is the NFL official, everybody else is running with it because they know it's an emotional component. make no mistakes. I learned it from being a reporter early. We call it clickbait now, but in the days of the newspapers, it was headlines. You had to have headlines that brought people in. No difference with magazines or anything else. You could always run a retraction or, hey, we didn't really mean to say this on page 49 of the newspaper, apologizing for it. But hey, let's understand this. I think NFL officiating is not great. Is it worse than it's ever been? Probably not. It's probably been the same. But I also say NFL, unlike Major League Baseball or basketball or whoever else you want to use as reference, there's just so few games that we are so emotionally invested in each game, and the impact of one or two losses is so huge on a season. I think that's what leads to a lot of the debate about the officiating. If hey, official misses a call in basketball and it's in the third quarter or whatever, who really gives a rip, man? There are just so many more calls coming that it kind of gets washed out. You talk about an NFL game or a college game or whatever, where there's a call in that second quarter that clearly could have turned the tide of the game, then yeah, it's going to be overly analyzed for about a week on media, and they get us to get more worked up about a call than maybe we would otherwise. All right, went on way too long about that. Apologies. Motown, what do you got? Trump's genius agreed. Blows my mind. It's almost never gets called. Yeah, I would agree about the holding. Yeah. One funky there, not holding Hutch as much as fans think. Seriously, y'all need to learn what is and what isn't called league wide. All right, we'll go with that. One funky, good point. Motown, I know what holding is in the league. All right. Eduardo, what do you got? The first two offensive drives will tell us everything we need to know. If Ben has truly adjusted, we need to see it in those two drives. I would agree with that. Yeah, and we need to see some growth out of Ben Johnson for sure. All right, Eduardo, eventually we need to move Sewell to the left and get someone new to the right. Yeah, that's where I think in Decker, I think he'd be a pretty good guard, and I think that would help keep his career going. Whether or not he's going to be okay with moving to guard, that's probably the tough part. All right, one funky. If you think Hutch gets held all the time, then you don't. All right, just go with whatever works for you guys. I mean, you think he is great. If you think he's not, that's fine too. Yeah, just go with that. All right, Frank, I am bringing the heat on bad calls and NFL officiating. I'm warned them not to keep the Broncos in the game with flags in the third quarter. I mean, let's hope the Lions don't give them anything to call. Motown, what do you got? Clearly, you think you're the only one that knows. Let's be cool with each other. I mean, hey, everybody can have their own opinion. Eduardo, that formation where you mentioned Sewell next to Decker for the big Gibbs run, we need more of that. You can have a power side for sure, and that would be a lot of power. All right, I always told my kids, no matter how wrong the refs are, they are always right before the days of replay. Yeah, because if you get fixated on that call, then you're not fixated on the now, and that's the problem. You lose your focus, your play, and your performance goes down. So you're doing a good job with that, man. Don, what do you got? We should be all Cincinnati fans at 1 p.m. today. I'm going to be. I know that. I'm going to probably sitting down. This is my half day off today, my half day off for the week. So I'm going to spend my half day off watching some football and having some fun and probably having Jen tell me what I got to do today. I'll be watching that game, though, or at least listening to it. One funky Motown. I must be the only one that understands that if a defender does a rip move and puts the guy – yeah, all right. I get it, guys. I get it. Hey, broski, thanks for that, man. I might buy a hot dog with that while at the Circle K getting my morning Mountain Dew. So thanks for that, guys. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to put a little extra hot sauce on that hot dog. One funky. It's league-wide. So if Hutch tries to back into the OT, that's not holding either. I agree. Okay. All right. Justin, Don Berg goes Cincinnati, 100%. I hope they light him up by 1,000. Don, station, yep, go Bengals. Don, it's a question. Maybe at one funky or Dr. Detroit knows if we win out, does that put us probably for the number 1 or 2 seed? That's a good one, Don. And I can't answer that for you. Somebody else maybe in the chat. I don't know enough of the other team's schedules. But if we win out, that gets us to 13 wins. That would mean the 49ers and Cowboys both have to win 3 just to tie us. I don't know. I can't answer that. So hopefully somebody can throw it in the comment section, but I do not have an answer there. Just when you got somebody is already down at Eastern Market wearing a Broncos jersey. Hey, they're ready early. They're starting out. They came ready to play. We'll put it that way. Boo. I've been a ref. It's tough. It is, man. Yeah. And the first thing I would say, if you're ever going to get into reffing, you probably know this. You can't listen to anybody else. Your partners, and that's about it, or your crew. But yeah, you can't listen to the stands because you can't allow them to influence you. Phil, refs should be full time. Most have jobs during the week. Yeah, most do. And so where I live in Kalamazoo, I know there was an NFL official. I think he's since retired, who was a professor at Western. Just when I was at Western Michigan University, when I was coaching there, I got to know Rex pretty well and talked to him about a lot of the procedures they go through. While it may not be quote unquote full time, they do spend some at the NFL level. They do spend a good amount of time going through it. How much more enticing you could make it to somebody to do this full time throughout the year? I mean, I don't know. That I couldn't answer, but would they get vastly better if they were doing this, 5 days a week throughout the year? Maybe. I would think that it would be marginal improvement. I also do think it's the type of profession where you would struggle to get people. And I wasn't privy of this until maybe last year. So just so you guys know, there's a huge shortage of officials in high school, and it's starting to show up in college across our country. Definitely at the high school level. The college, just because the pay is different. High school nowadays, you're getting about $150 a game, and depending on your sport. So let's just say football, you're probably a little closer to 180 a game. Maybe some states a little bit more like 200. Basketball, I know it's about 150, and a lot of times on Friday nights you'll get 2 games. So $300 for about 2.5 hours worth of work. College level, depending on which level you go up to. So say junior college, you're getting about 200, 250 a game. You get to D1, you can start getting to where you're making 100,000, maybe 150,000 a year, but you do have to travel a lot. And then again, this depends on your sport. NFL level, I think we all know they get right around 200 or so a year, plus all the travel. But there's a shortage out there in all leagues. It's starting to affect the NFL. Are trying to recruit more and more people to be there. NBA as well, and it's affecting some of the quality on there. It's not egregious at the pro level yet. It's starting to show its ugly head, I guess you could say, at lower level college, because you are getting some people out there who aren't as qualified as perhaps they could be, or I shouldn't say qualified. They're not as trained as they perhaps should be. And it's what they're going to do to fix it that I can't answer. All right, Don, what are you going to say, Justin? They should be there early because of the way us Lions fans are going to show up. They will look like a needle in a haystack. They will, and I'm guessing once you get to about probably around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah, that area is going to get lit up with people going out to enjoy themselves before the game. All right, if you think the Lions are important, look at the 08 and 12 Giants. Journeyman QB, great line play. Yeah, a great line can protect a average quarterback and make them look a whole lot better. All right, Iceberg, what do you got? Bears 35. And to 10. All right, we'll go with that, man. We'll go with that. All right, Phil, what do you got? Duck Hunters, tears out this morning. Hearing shots at dawn, and no tears. All right. It's probably a good day for that, right? What do you got, Don? Chicago Teddy, Bears 9. Another game with all field goals. Browns 44. Ooh, yeah. That Browns defense, I will say this, they're pretty legit. So Iceberg, yeah, your team's gonna be put to the test today. Phil, what are you driving with the Tesla? The shop Tesla got back yesterday, so I returned the rental car, and yeah, Tesla's back. So it is nice to have it back. I not used to SUVs, and they do stop a little bit different. Iceberg polls, all right, I'll go with that. Dr. Detroit, Don, it depends on how other teams at this point. Yep, we have to win out to have a chance. Yeah, to get the number one. I just don't know what it would take for us to get the number one seed. Don, Claypool's But Velas Jones, boy, I can't talk this morning. Sorry about that, guys. Dr. Troy, from what I was reading, okay, it's up to Cowgirls and San Fran and Philly. Watch them. Yeah, well, they all could somehow lose out. That would help us exponentially. Dr. Troy, if we won last week, it would double of our sites big time. Well, if only we would have. One funky, Don. I'm not sure. It depends on the other squads. But what's funny is Dallas is actually ahead of Philly currently. Yeah, I know there's some sort of tiebreaker that they have a slight edge on now. All right, just a couple more here, and then it's due o'clock for me. Don, thank you, Dr. D. One funky, just getting confirmation for what I was thinking. Yep. J1 Bear MVP, probably. So Iceberg, legit question to you, man. Are they going to keep him after this year, or are they going to draft somebody to replace him? I could see the argument for both ways. All right, Boo Booth, it's more voluntary at high school level. It depends on what your area is. I can only speak for the areas I know. Around here, they do get paid pretty well. Again, depending on the sport, but I know for basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and football, they just this year increased the pay scale, trying to attract more people out there. And to be honest, it's probably had an impact. I know just from a basketball standpoint, the fact that on Friday night you can work 2 games back to back at the varsity level, you're walking out with basically $300 for 2.5 hours worth of work. It has had an impact, but the problem I'm seeing when it comes to officiating is everybody's like my age or significantly older. There's just not a lot of younger people getting into it. Maybe that changes, but hopefully it changes. All right, down we got Justin Fields, 1 MVP, MVRB, most valuable RB. Yeah, could be. That's a good one, Don. Plus Don, one funky plus Don. If we end up tied with the other teams, I don't know what our shared opponent records are. Yeah, you're doing a deeper dive than I can predict at this point. All right, 2 more here. Iceberg, all right. Scott, good morning, International Duke Crew, and MCDT. Aha. It's check your 4 heart day with the Cardiac Cats. Let's go Lions. Yeah, I'm ready for hopefully an easy game. That would be great. All right, Frank, the Bears have a ridiculous amount of cap space. Brad Holmes better sign a free agent defensive end. Yeah, I would agree. We need some more pass rush. Detroit, Matt, I'm going downtown for the game today. Let's get loud. I'll be giving these Broncos fans heck. All right, I like that. Don, Bears will be the Bears $1 short, day late. It could be. Yeah, we're going to owe them some next year. Phil, MCDT, that's correct. That might be one of my new names. All right, guys, I think I actually caught up to the chat for once, so it's time for me to go get a do and get out for my half day off. Hope you all have a great one. If there happens to be some breaking news, I'll get on the mic today because I've actually got a little time. But I hope you all have a great one. I will have a post-game video probably late tonight, but if you guys are up and around and you want to watch it, feel free. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 20 away from hitting 4,800. If you can help make that happen, that would be great of you. Hit that like button. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, guys.